Hello there, I'm Kimberly. Welcome back to another Q&A Thursday. So glad to see you. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. Well, we've got a great question for you today. So, as you join in to our Q&A Thursday, I would love for you to say hello in the comments below. I'd love to say hi to you. And if you are listening to this Q&A Thursday later today, would you hashtag replay in the comments, and then I can say hi to you later today. So our question for today is, how much screen time should my kids get this summer? Great question. So there's a joke that we have that always goes around our house, and that is this joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? You would answer, who's there? Let us who? Let us play iPad. It's one that we often say, the kids often say when in a roundabout way of asking for screen time. So let's talk about how much screen time is too much screen time. What are some rules, boundaries we can have around screen time, and what just works well for your kids and my kids. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you that I am a mom. Proud to be a mom, but that's who I am. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, I don't have my master's in special education. So anything that I share today is coming from me, a mom, and what is real life, what happens in our house, what has worked, hasn't worked. This is all my opinions. So take it, you can leave it, you can use some of these suggestions. Maybe some will work for you, maybe some won't. Maybe some will help you set some good boundaries around screen time. You take it and leave it what you want, okay? Are there any kids out there who aren't happy with the opportunity to play video games, to play iPad, to watch a movie? Are there any kids asking for less device time? Wouldn't it be nice if they said to us, hey mom, is it okay if I spend more time playing outside today than playing on my iPad? Wouldn't we love that? Well, would you share in the comments below how much screen time your children get in a day? I would love to know that. Remember that there's no judgment here, just honesty. So if they play 3 hours, 4 hours of iPad, put it down there. If they play iPad and watch a movie, share it in the comments below. If you Googled how much screen time should your kids get in a day, you'll get the answer something like, the recommended amount of screen time depends on the child's age. Children under 2 years should not have any screen time, and those under 5 should have less than 2 hours a day. That would be your Googled answer. So here's my suggestions, my real life mom suggestions around screen time, and I would love for you to share in the comments below your thoughts about this screen time and how you have worked out screen time in your house. So big number one is to just establish boundaries and rules for your children's screen time. So let's talk quantity first. How much? I'm happy to give my kids, their ages 10, 8, and 5, an hour of screen time every day. Let them enjoy their video games. Let them have fun. I'm cool with that. Prior to this staying at home time, my kids played on Saturdays only, iPad. And I know you're probably totally shocked, but let me tell you the backstory behind this. Each child earned their iPad. We didn't just give it to them. They earned their iPad through doing chores with excellence, helping around the house by doing their schoolwork with excellence and with a good attitude. If they had any money to contribute towards their iPad, what we did was we had a thermometer, and there would be lines as to how much the iPad costs, and then as they did those things, they would be able to color in the line on their thermometer. And that was all based on their age and what they were capable of doing. And we waited until all 3 of them had earned their iPad so that they all got them at the same time. And it was Karis who one night when we were putting them to bed said, we've decided that we'll play iPad for 1 hour on Saturday morning. And so I said, well, that's a wise choice. Of course, I was like, yes, Holly. Well, anyway, we stuck to that for like 2 Saturdays. And then Karis came back to me and she said, I didn't really think that through. Maybe I shouldn't have said only 1 hour on Saturdays. So we persisted through that 1 hour on Saturdays for quite a while. And then I would random bonus them with iPad time anytime, right? If they helped extra around the house, if they really did chores or kept really good attitudes while doing those chores, that sort of thing, I would randomly bonus them some iPad time. So since this staying at home time, now I have given them 1 hour every day to play iPad, every day except Sundays. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Because we can't go around out, like we used to. So they still play their 1 hour of iPad a day, except we take a rest day on Sundays, and that includes Instagram and Facebook time for us parents as well. So we just take a no iPad, no social media rest day on Sundays. Now, we will watch, every once in a while, we'll watch like a family movie on Sunday, so then we're getting a little bit of screen time there. However, establishing those boundaries and rules around iPad time really helped to cut out the can I play iPad or the let us play iPad knock jokes, right? So I encourage you to discuss this with your kids. I'm sure you've already had this discussion, but if you haven't, discuss it with your kids. Come to a happy agreement that everybody can stick with as to how much time they play iPad or video games, and stick to it. I know I just said that, but it's really important to stick to it. If they complain, if they ask for more iPad time, say, do you remember when we all came to an agreement about screen time? Wouldn't it be great if we stuck to that agreement? I'm laughing because of course they're going to say, oh no, do we have to stick to that? Please, can I play more iPad? But hey, you had the family discussion. You said, this is the rules, this is the boundaries around iPad time. Stick to it. I think that's a good idea. So wouldn't it be a good idea if we stuck to that agreement that we made about iPad time? Say that to your kids. I know that some families have like charts, that they have like morning chore charts and different things that they want their child to do in the morning. So it's their morning chores. Maybe they do a little bit of schoolwork. Maybe they have some craft time. Maybe there's like the family cleanup time. You could choose to do that as well. Whatever works for you and your family. I know that sometimes when I have given the, okay, you can play iPad, your hour of iPad today, and then I find myself still cleaning up the dishwasher by myself and folding the laundry by myself, I think, oh, I didn't quite do a good enough job there. I okayed the iPad time before I asked them all to pitch in and help. So I'm just sharing you my real life moments there. So what time of day should your kids play iPad? Great question. For us, it's after lunch. We'll do a mini cleanup. around the house, any toys, put away any schoolwork that we've done for the day, and then they can have their hour of iPad time. Big thing that we do, I would love to know in the comments if this is what you do, but we set a timer for our hour of iPad time because you and I both know we're real. We get distracted, I get busy, I get focused on my work. I usually use that hour to do some work. So I get in the groove and I forget that an hour has gone by. It slips by so fast. So anyway, we do a timer, and then the kids know that's the cue. When the timer goes off, it's time to stop playing iPad. So I am going to say here another suggestion, and I would say that this is like the, where the rubber meets the road rule about screen time, is that no sleep should be interrupted to play iPad, video games, or movies. Our children, our teenagers, should not be playing video games until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock into the morning. I don't care if it's the summer, of course not a school night. It doesn't matter. Remember, this is my opinion, so you can take it or leave it if you want, but there are way more important things than video games in life. And one of them is sleep. We know the value of sleep for good health, for good emotional health, for, a fun day the next day when our kids have had the sufficient sleep that they need. We want focus in the classroom. We want them to be able to be creative. You and I know what it feels like, that brain fog, that, easily distracted, weariness when we don't get our sleep. And so we don't want that for our kids. And iPad time, video game time, movie time is not an okay reason for them to lose their sleep. I would encourage you to set them up for success by establishing that boundary, that rule in your home about screen time. So let's talk next about attitudes. We might not think about attitudes in terms of screen time and the amount of screen time, but that is huge. So in times past, we have had problems with attitudes when it comes time to stop playing iPad. The whines and the complaints and the, but I'm not finished yet. So my encouragement to you is, do they obey right away, and do they have a good attitude when it comes time to stop playing iPad? Do they complain? That's important to me. Their attitude is important to me. So we have talked through this, and we have lessened iPad time if they do not respond with a good attitude, obeying right away by turning off their iPad, and thank you, Mom and Dad, for letting me play iPad, that sort of thing. I love my kids. You love your kids. We want them to be creative. We want them to be imaginative. We want them to be inventive. We want them to be problem solvers. I'm happy for them to enjoy iPad, but when it consumes all that they're thinking about, when they want to spend hour playing iPad, when they're always talking about it together, meaning at breakfast they're talking about Animal Jam, and when they're swinging outside they're talking about Animal Jam, and when we're at the dinner table they're talking about Animal Jam, and when we're putting them to bed they're still talking about Animal Jam. That is too much. That is consuming them. It's like an addiction, right? Let's be real here. It's just like us and the time that maybe we spend too much of on Facebook or Instagram, or, binge watching something. It's consuming us, especially when there are other things that we need to be doing. If we're procrastinating on something, you know, we're adults here. We all have to monitor our own screen time. So I encourage you to pay attention to how consumed your children are with their iPad video games. There's a difference between enjoying something for an hour a day and then it consuming every moment of their day and their thoughts about their day. And you'll see that show up. You'll see that consuming in their bad attitudes when you tell them to stop, if they are just, wanting more and more and more of it. So here's some other real life things. Have I used iPad time as a babysitter? Yes. Haven't we all? My kids play iPad every Thursday at 1 o'clock for our Q&A Thursday time so that we can spend some good time together uninterrupted. Hey, it is what it is. We got to do what we got to do sometimes. They have played iPad while I have tutored before. I would set a timer for them, of course, too, because the last thing I want them to do is to play iPad for 3 hours straight. So they have confessed when they have not listened to the timer and stopped when the timer ran out. And I've appreciated that even more than them disobeying the timer, but that they were sensitive, had sensitive hearts to tell me and not keep secrets. And then we talk through our values around screen time, right? My children are ages 10, 8, and 5. I've already mentioned that. So we will see how we establish boundaries and rules around screen time as they grow into teenagers. What I do know is that I do not want them to have TV and video game time consoles in their bedrooms. I'm working so hard now to foster and to nurture their creativity and their imagination and their problem-solving skills, to have them, in my opinion, blow it all away with, so much video game time when they're teenagers. Maybe that's the extreme, but we're just being real here. I hope that they will be creating their own businesses or working in the family business, reaching out to help the community, involved in sports as they're teenagers. I hope that's what they enjoy spending their time on, not just so many video games. So, what else can your children do this summer besides screen time? Great question. I would love for you to share in the comments below some of the activities that your kids are enjoying this summer besides screen time. We want to keep them creative and independent. You need to get some things done as well. So what can our kids do? If you've missed out on last week's Q&A Thursday, I invite you to listen in on that. Just find it in the Facebook feed. But I share lots of ideas of what your children can do during the summertime so that you don't feel that you always need to entertain them. You can get done what you need to do and they're still being creative and independent. So check out those ideas. I'm not going to repeat all of those here because I gave a whole bunch. So check that out. But you can have them do Lego building, board games. It's a rainy day here, so we're going to have some fun after this Q&A Thursday playing some board games. There's card games, books on audio, baking challenge. Depending on your age, you may need to assist with that one. Playmobil, drawing challenges. When our kids were really little, I used to set up little stations around the house so they could just move from, blocks to dolls to dress up, all of the different things that they could just float around to. And then I would change them up every few days so that it was some variety. I want to remind you that every Tuesday with our At Home with the Kids Summer Edition, we have some fun little videos that your kids can watch. I know it's screen time, but it's just for like 10-12 minutes where Karis and I, my oldest daughter, and I share some fun games and crafts and challenges that your kids can do. So once they hear what that challenge is through the little video, then they can spend, a little bit of time in the afternoon doing that challenge. So it's usually something that you can print off and then they color it, or they'll do like a word search or something like that. There is one that is a baking challenge, so you may need to help them out with that, but everything else should leave them pretty creative and independent on their own. So I hope that you check out our At Home with the Kids summer episodes. If your children do complete the challenge, be sure to share a picture of them with their completed challenge on Instagram and hashtag Austin's Kids Club, because then their name all through July and August will be entered into a draw to win one of two $50 Amazon gift cards. And if their name gets into the draw in July, their name will also be put into the draw for August. So there's like double the chances of winning, which is really cool. We've already had our first coloring page done by one of our amazing Austin Kids Club friends. So we would love to see their completed challenges. So you can check out those At Home with the Kids summer editions on our Facebook and Instagram page. So, yes, what else? Also, the I Am Loved journal. You could look into getting that for your kids, because that will also keep them busy. There's over 90 pages of fun activities and challenges and teaching pages and drawing pages, declaration pages, all of our love in that journal for your kids. We talk about overcoming fear, putting others first, what to do when they're made fun of, how do they tell a lie versus the truth, how do they choose what to believe in their life. It's a journal for ages 7 to 13. It's meant to grow with them, so as they experience some of those challenges as they grow up, they can keep coming back to that journal and using it to help them through those challenges. So you can check out the I Am Loved Kids Journal all through July and August. If you purchase one of the journals, which is $20, you'll receive a free tumbler, strawed tumbler that can keep your drinks cold. That's a $10 value, so we just want to share the love this summer and help keep your kids creative and independent. So I hope that some of those suggestions about screen time and how much screen time and some of the boundaries and rules that you can put for your family around screen time have helped you today. Again, I encourage you to share in the comments below some of the rules and boundaries that you have around screen time, and if any of the ones that I shared today are something that you're gonna do. So I look forward to seeing you next week on our Q&A Thursday. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome, please, to share in the comments below your question, or you can email me at Kimberly@speaklifebadges.com. I'll see you next week. Bye.